Today is Monday, March 28th, 6:51 a.m. I'm recalling any traumatic incidences that have occurred in my lifetime in an effort to complete my shadow work and heal my inner child. And I'm reminded of one of the earlier incidences when I was a very young girl. May have been 5 years old or so. And I'm reminded of a time when my Aunt Gail decided to take her three nieces, I just yawned, her three nieces, me, Chiffon, and Tiffany, to the washateria, the laundromat. And I guess on our way back, she loaded us up in a car. She put me right next to her. She loaded us all in the front seat with her. She set me next to her, Chiffon next to me, Tiffany next to Chiffon, and on the passenger side door. I guess when she loaded the clothes in the back seat and loaded us, she didn't close that door very good on Tiffany's side. And so we're driving up, I think it was Highway 90 in San Antonio. And at that time, that was really not a highway. It was a street, like a 4-lane street, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. We're driving, and it had a turning lane in the middle, as I recall. And just remember, while we driving up the street, Tiffany fell out the car, middle of the street. Cars getting ready to come. My Aunt Gail, in a knee-jerk reaction, screams, opens her car door, her driver's side door, jumps out without putting the car in park. And the car proceeds in a very slow but consistent action into a field. So it hooked a right and went into a field. And that field was eventually ending and leading to a house, leading to houses. So while she's in the middle of the street getting Tiffany on Highway 90, me and Chiffon are still sitting in the car with the car going slowly but consistently in that field towards houses. Now my Aunt Gail, I get up, stand up, and look out the back rear window, and I see her chasing and screaming at the top of her lungs, "Somebody help me! Oh my God!" Chasing the car. And she would get she got Tiffany in one hand, and she would get so close to the car, damn near touched the trunk, and then she fell in the field. Oh, it was traumatic. It was traumatic. And we crying. Chiffon standing up, looking at Aunt Gail. I'm standing up, looking at Aunt Gail. Then I sat down, and just something within me at that age told me, just turn off the key. Turn off the ignition. So I turned around, I sat down. We was probably less than 10 feet from that house. And that's what I did. I just turned around, I sat down, and I turned off the car. Bloop. And the car stopped. Man, I remember ambulance came, police came. It was a whole thing. And I don't remember everything past that point, but I do remember. Let me just say this. That goes ahead, and that adds to what my cousin this past weekend said about me. I don't know about all other kids. I just know you were always aware. So I must have been paying attention when everybody was starting the cars, cranking the cars, turning off the cars, to realize that when you crank it up, it turns on. When you crank it off, it turns off. And it was enough to save all of our lives, save me and Chiffon's life. And you know, I know that God was with me and told me what to do. I just had that voice. I heard that voice, I believe. And I just remember after that going to church and everybody coming up to me, hugging me, giving me a kiss. And Kirsten, oh my God. I just remember everybody giving me praises for weeks and weeks on end about how smart I was and God bless me and this or that, because I did that. I'm just so excited. I can't. That was a good. Now that was one that was traumatic, but ended up turning out well and saved me and Chiffon's life, literally, and maybe the lives in that house. That car, because back then, you know, in the early 80s, we talking about like 82, 80, 83. Them cars was big and clunky, you know, we just coming out of the 70s. So all that metal would have went up against it. The car probably would have folded because cars weren't made. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what would have went. The car would have blown up with us in it, or went into the side of that house and folded like I don't know what. But I'm just glad that happened, that I was able to do it. Okay. That's my first recollection of trauma.